business case with Abu. As usual, you came before every one of us.
No, I didn't, but I came.
An important lesson we will all learn by force. We're grateful once again to have you. Like we promised, we're going to start immediately, and I want to believe all the participants have all read the case, have all read the book preparatory to this session, and we're more than ready to run the session with you. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you. Salaam
alaikum.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning,
nice to see you for this quarter. Today's discussion mainly, I think we should start it from what are we trying to get from here, because this book that formed the basis of the case story is so simple, yet so powerful. In fact, it's so tiny. If you look at it, it looks like a comic book. If you're not careful, you lose interest at the beginning, and you be like, who is this talking about mouse, cheese, and everything? Yet, one of the most impactful books that I have read in my life is this Who Moved My Cheese, because it covers a lot of human life in a comical way, which is the way life is in the real sense. As we grow, it's not as if we sit and put a guideline or framework or manual in front of us and say, this is what you do next. We all move with life, but we imbibe and imbued in us are things that either make you successful or a failure. We don't pay attention to them, but they are part of our life. And this is what makes this book very, very important. You see, and I want this to be interactive. I will still give my point and my own view of this. You see 4 characters in this book. And the purpose of these characters are mainly to bring out 3 things. Other people may bring out things out of it. So you see 2 people you can call little people, and you see 2 animal character. So who are these people? Sniff. Sniff is a mice. Yeah. And his character is always to sniff out opportunity, which actually probably is why the author gave it that name. You sniff out opportunities even before there's a need for other people to know. So you are in the middle of a big opportunity, but you're looking out for other opportunity. And you see this in very successful people. They're doing something big, and you're like, this thing is big enough to even sustain you forever. And they're still sniffing out to see, what if this ends? What if this ends? And I'll give you 2 examples of why there's need for individuals and professionals to always sniff. And one of them is real life example going around now. Dangote. So he had cement. Cement, for some people, cement is big enough for you to survive. Actually, Dangote started from trading. He was selling rice, he was selling vegetable oil, but he was the biggest. And then he went into cement. And you'd be like, wow, with cement, you can't go wrong. Everybody Then he went into refinery. So if you're like, I don't think, I said, I'm not saying I'm sure. As individual, I would think, I don't think refinery will ever finish. So what's the problem? But the man is already talking about steel. That's the behavior of a sniff. Even before it finishes, even while you're in the middle of it, you are sniffing for opportunity. This means that you have to stay away as an individual, always stay away. You have to pay attention to small signals around you in your head, because if you're not able to move, you're not able to move, even if you have the best ideas. In your relationship, who are the people around you? And in your habits. So you see this guy, as they get to this location, other people will be like, wow, this is opportunity. What do we do as individuals? Let me get comfortable and eat and enjoy. So we throw our tools away. I'm a chartered accountant. I have found a CFO job in an oil company. What can be better? So no more improvement, no more qualification. I'm okay. I'll be fine here. But Sniff will put his sneakers around his neck. Even when you may not need the sneaker tomorrow, but you understand? So that's the first personality. The second personality is Scurry, who is also a mouse. And Scurry essentially is a character that teaches us that we all don't have to be inventors. So I don't have to be the person that will discover electronic vehicles. I don't have to be the first person that will discover, let's bring it home, that you can make money from trading. I don't have to discover that there's money in cement. I don't have to discover that there's big money in refinery. But that guy, Sniff, has sniffed it out, and it is showing well that it is performing. I'm going to be there. Do we have example of that in our environment? Rabiu, Boa, and I'm using real life example so that we can connect. Is there any way that Boa got to first before Dangote? None. So Dangote started trading. You trade rice, I trade rice. You do sugar, I will do sugar. As long as I am paying attention, and then you want to go and do cement, Dangote cement, this thing is making money. I follow you. Boa cement. Now, refinery. You are doing your own refinery. Everybody is shouting, I'm doing my own refinery. So these are two examples of what looks so simple can apply to real life situation. The richest person, the richest black man, the richest man in Africa is Dangote. He has not invented anything, but he has paid attention. It's not a Tesla. It's not an Apple. That's why I'm not using Apple as an example. That's why I'm not using Tesla as an example. I'm using people that are in our environment. So one pays attention to what works. The other is, Shebi, you have paid attention. I will copy, and I will copy as well. So pay attention to your environment, and where necessary, copy. When I was the MD of Coronation, and what we also do in Trust Bank now, is that you don't have to be the inventor. In fact, we don't spend money on invention, but we spend time copying and copying better. As long as you identify who you are and what you want to be, but pay attention and do it well, it makes life easier for you. Now, there were two little people, Hem and Haw. Okay? Hem hates changes. It's just very comfortable, I beg. Why do we have to change the way we do things? We have been doing it and it's working. Look around us. The chase is so much. Why do you want to take the trouble of making changes when things are already? How does he act? He blames others for everything. There must be somebody to carry his blame. So he doesn't accept blame. He also denies reality. He doesn't accept reality if this thing is finishing. So you see people that they know that a horse is dead or is about to die, but they're like, okay, the problem is not the horse. All you need to do is beat the horse more, kick it more, and then you're just leading to the early grave of the dying horse. So that's him. Even when it's hot, so they're like a frog in a frog starts getting used to the environment. So you start putting heat a little bit at a time around a frog. It just adjusts their skin and they live with the heat, and they're like, that's the way it is. You increase the heat a little bit more, they adjust, and that's the way, until when they realize that this is not a normal heat and they need to move. But at that time, their body has cooked. So the body system is no longer working. And this applies to professionals, individuals, companies. So you manage to get yourself in an environment and you're comfortable with it, but things start to change. And you're like, no, don't worry, it's the nature of the work. So you need to learn AI. You're like, at my age, how am I going to learn ChatGPT? It's for my children. No, it's for my younger one. It's for Gen Z. These are excuses we give to ourselves. And so people won, the Sniffs, they're like, in the next few years, AI is going to be able to prepare the financial accounts of a company, very complex, within 30 minutes. Everything that you are doing quarterly will be ready in 30 minutes. And you're like, in a lie, all this consolidation. But it happens. And I like giving examples of real life example. So I know of a young person that got employed, a master's holder, London Business School, BSc holder, one of the top universities in the world, was employed to do one of the biggest mutual funds in the world. And it's a quarterly peers comparison. In other words, you take all the peers in the world, BlackRock, Fidelity, Vanguard. We're not talking of Nigerian level of asset management. We're talking of massive trillions of dollars, and compare the evaluation, performance, and everything. And they had people there that have been doing it. So it takes average of 2 to 3 weeks to do this report quarterly. 2 to 3 weeks. So they employed this young new graduate, 24 years old. Actually, the person black and was used just for diversity. Let's give this person so that we can say we have a black staff in our, very good in AI. The first thing the person saw was like, AJ, talking to me, you know, I can program this thing, AI, and I will do it in 2 days. Me, I was like, I'm the old set type of people. Why do you want to? They took you because it will take you 2 weeks. You are the black among them. Why we want to take a job out of your own mouth? Because if you not do it within that short period, 2 days, then what will you be doing for the next remaining period of the 12 days of the 2 weeks? Anyway, the young lady decided and programmed it and sent it to the company. And the company was like, no, it's impossible now. We've been doing it, the Scurries, the hems. We've been doing this forever. It's been taking 2 weeks. That's the most. And the young lady was like, you know, I can actually program this thing for you. And it will be done in 30 seconds. And they're like, no, 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 it's not possible now. So within 6 months, valuation comparison was done, and it's just a click of the button. And this program using AI will fetch global information, do analysis, and present graph, reports, and everything within 30 seconds and present the report to you. Of course, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be like 80–90% usable. So as you then use your human knowledge and everything to finish it. Now, if you had sat down and said, this is the way we've been doing it forever, you just realize overnight that your job is gone. Because if this black person did not do it, some other person will come and do it. And what then happens? Your Harvard degree, your Cambridge degree suddenly becomes not relevant because you just didn't take that pain to learn the new changes. And this is the problem with the people like him. Now, the last person is Hall. And he's very scared and is very... So these are people that are like, it can't work. If we do it, what we will be doing? It's not, I mean, they resist every change. So you've been doing things manually before, and you go to them and you're like, we can automate. The first thing that will come out of their mouth is, it can't work. It's not possible. Not because they know it can't work really, but because they are very afraid and they resist changes. But some of these people then learn. They're like, what if it works? So let's jot, let's note. So one of these characters, when he sniffs, when he searches, they put mark and say, we've been here. There's nothing here. And the purpose of this is so that you don't make the same mistake twice. And this brings the importance of documentation. The mind, the brain, very powerful. Some brains more powerful than even the most powerful computer. But the brain also have a limitation. is forget. And if you don't trigger the part of that brain that you need, you may not remember until you have done the same thing twice. So if you don't document, you forget. So this character that will also always go and look for opportunities, but will mark the area. If there's a little chase, we'll put a mark, little chase. If there's no mark, no chase, we'll put X. So that the next time you're about to take that part, you're like, we've been here. We don't have to go through, waste the time, and come back. Because we know this place led to nowhere. So these are the 4 characters. Now I'll take a pause. I was going to take this for 15 minutes, then take a pause, we discuss about it. Because we're all supposed to have read it. And take a few comments and see how do people really view this book when they read it, if they read it. Do we have volunteers? What's your own view, given the brief introduction and summary that I have given? Does anybody want to take a small discussion of their own view and how they receive the book? I don't see any hands up.
Can we raise up our hand, please? Okay.
Okay. Please, you can call
Aisha.
them. Okay.
Aisha.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam.
Alaikum salam.
Yeah, so thank you very much for this opportunity. We really, really do appreciate it. My personal takeaway from the book is that the book actually is not really about cheese. If we are being objective, it's more about identity. So I think it depends. It asks whether how much our confidence depends on our stance, how much we are willing to go to keep going when those circumstances change. And it shows that, to me, the maze never really changed, but the character development did improve, because with the maze, the opportunity was always there. What prevented them, the little humans, was their mindset. So it became easier to navigate once they changed how they thought about it. So yeah, basically, just to me, it says that our perspective often changes our experiences more than circumstances do. So yeah.
Thank you. Halima.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
So when I read the book, I got to see that it was just bringing out different, like Sister Aisha perfectly said, different characters that we could be in. And it also reiterated the fact that we do not have to remain stuck in something. Like Abu said, we can't say, oh, this is how it's always been done. Oh, this I've always known it. This is how I've always. Yeah, that fear would always be there. The fear of what happens. Like Sniff and Scurry felt when they saw the cheese disappeared. Well, they felt, okay, it's no longer here, but then that does not mean we should stay where we are. And I also like the statement you made about all of us not having to be inventors. Yes, we all cannot, we all don't operate on the same wavelength. We all cannot be the first ones to have that light bulb moment. But then we should also be very, very much aware of knowing when someone has actually had that moment, someone has invented, however, for lack of a better word, and be able to follow in that path to achieve whatever greatness that awaits. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now let's look at the question in another way. Now, having read the book, do we have people that in the past have felt that the cheese has moved? You got to work or you start feeling that this cheese is moving? Nobody. Okay.
Am I allowed to share my experience?
You're allowed to share, please. You're part of this, yes.
So I think the year was 2014, yeah, thereabout, or 2015. I was the financial controller of a mortgage bank, and we introduced a new banking software. We got a local vendor to build a banking software and also build IFRS engine and build some new financial system and model. And one of the things we did, because before then, prior to that time, we had another software, but with them over time, we built some sophisticated Excel model with which we run our monthly reporting and all that. And the advantage of rebuilding the entire system internally was such that you can customize your existing reporting via the new engine being built. So it means that some of the things we used to flex with is the fact that I can use Excel to do amazing things, to design different reports for the management. And we automated the entire process such that, unlike before where you had to be sending weekly, monthly, quarterly report to the MD, you have to be designing beautiful reports for the board, we automated everything. Meaning that on a daily basis, the MD can know if we're making profits, where we are at every point in time. When we did that, and I made sure all those templates are integrated into the new system built. When we were done doing that, and I thought about it, okay, I thought I have done amazing things by making sure we automated everything. But then I immediately saw that, man, the cheese has moved for me.
Exactly.
Because the flex I thought I had has been automated. So
cheese moves from time to time. Thank you, Adiza.
Yes. Oh, so thank you so much for the session and the contribution so far. So for me, I think the biggest change that I've experienced is moving countries. When I moved 2 years ago from Nigeria to the UK, it felt like it was a big move. But then I was moving within the same industry, and I thought, okay, I've done this before, it's going to be exactly the same, but it was completely different. The way we were doing things back home was completely different from the way things were being done here. The culture, even like in terms of how people relate in the office, how you present yourself, how you project yourself, things like promotion back home, where if you do the job, you know, the work, people will just get promoted, but you have to like advocate for yourself. And so I've had to like really adapt and change a lot. And also in the process, a lot of adoption of AI tools and even just the way we work has changed over the years. And I'm looking back at, you know, who I was 2 years ago to now. If I hadn't moved with that change, I'll probably be back home already.
Absolutely.
Because, yeah, so it's a lot, and it's very, when I read the book, it was quite relatable because the
Thank you.
keeps moving.
Sorry, before I call Abdullah.
Okay, sir. Go ahead, sir.
What Adiza just mentioned now made me want to mention that part of who moved my cheese is that the cheese may still be there. You know, the cheese is in the chamber.
Yeah.
There may be a flood that just moved you out of the chamber where the cheese is, and you find yourself in another location. And what she explained, I don't know if I mentioned it at our last presentation, actually happened to me. When I moved to Canada. I was part of the early Jappers. So I left the country in 1998. And before I left the country, I was an assistant general manager at the age of 32. I was the head of treasury. And in my mind, nothing can go wrong. I deal with treasurers of all companies and everything. But I wanted to start earning dollars. So my cheese is there, but it's in Nigeria. So I moved to Canada. But my cheese was the fact that I was a brilliant Nigerian. I know the Nigerian culture. I know the Nigerian environment. And I was one of the top people. So if they want to do things, they have to contact me. That was my cheese. Sometimes when you move, you cannot move with your cheese because the cheese is fixed in that location. When I got to Canada, in my youthful arrogance, I was looking for a treasury job. After all, I was one of the best treasurers in Nigeria. Why will I not get a treasury job? Then I did all the application. 98, internet was not so strong. People don't do a lot. So you do your application, 200 application, you carry it and you go and mail. And then out of the 200 you sent, maybe you get 190 rejections. Sorry, but we'll keep it for 6 months. Since 1998, the 6 months is still counting because they will never come back. When I got to Canada, when I received a message that says, we've received your CV and we'll be keeping it and we'll get back to you soon, I actually was happy because I was in Nigeria. If an employer replied you, it means they're interested. They will not take their time to write a letter to say, we received your CV and we're considering it. In Canada and possibly in UK, if you receive a, we don't have a position now, we regret, that's the end of it. It's closed. But leaving my cheese area without carrying my cheese along, I was not aware of that. So I went for my first treasury interview that I was lucky to be called for. And in my mind, I have killed it. It was the best technical interview that I went for. The response I got back, and then I was living and in the foreign countries, I think one of their laws is that they cannot discourage you. They cannot say bad things to you. So even if they're not going to take you, they'll tell you, great performance, well done, you nailed it, which was what they told me. The agent that sent me to this interview, I went back to give a feedback, and I was like, I nailed it. When is the offer letter coming? And the man was like, well, they actually called me. They had absolutely no idea of what you were saying because you had a very thick accent and people didn't understand your accent. In my mind, I was speaking the best English that a Nigerian can offer. I left my cheese and I moved to a different location, thinking that my cheese was my certificate and my knowledge. So sometimes, and I decided to come in and say this because of what Adiza said, the cheese is still there. You are still this good chartered accountant. You are still this very good treasurer. However, you are living a location where your cheese is, and you have just misidentified your cheese. Yes, that cheese was given to you because you have the skill, the knowledge. But the cheese is the fact that you are in that location. When you get to a different location, you have to quickly recognize that you need to look for another cheese. Before I left Nigeria, I was a chartered accountant, but I was a treasurer. So when you're a chartered accountant and you're a treasurer, it's a different thing. You start counting money and you start forgetting debit and credit. And when I got to, I've never worked as an accountant when I got to Canada. And now I have to work The only job, so the agent then advised me, Abu, you know what you can do? The best way for you to work is to go and work behind computer. You're smart, you know the job, but when you talk to people, they won't hear what you're saying. So you cannot be a treasurer, you cannot be a salesperson. Go and find a job where you just sit and it will be you and your computer. So I remembered that I'm actually a chartered accountant. And for the first time, I brought out my certificate, which was the chase that I prepared for and I kept. And I started doing entry-level accounting job. And this is one thing in this who moved my chase. You cannot be arrogant. Remember I said I was 32. I was an AGM in Nigeria. I actually started back as entry-level bookkeeping staff. My boss was somebody that just graduated 6 months ago and will come to the office in guitar. And I will come because the only clothes that I was wearing in Nigeria, then in Nigeria in banks, you have to be in suit. People have to know that you are actually a banker. So the only clothes that I carried to Canada were suit, tie. So I'll go to the office in suit and tie. And they'll be looking at me and say, who is this guy? Because my boss was in t-shirt and khaki pants. They actually approached me one day and was like, you know you don't have to come to the office in suit. So I was like, I know, but I don't have another. So those are real cases of the chase is there, but you mistakenly or you deliberately decide to relocate to a different location. The chase will be different. And you either have to prepare a new tool to be able to harvest the chase, or you must already have so for people that are relocating, thinking that things are the same thing with where they're going, they have to do forward research and ensure that they understand what it is. I have a lot of staff in Trust Bank that have relocated, Canada, UK. Very brilliant people. For their first 3 years, a number of them are doing care work. Care work is when you go and retrain as something you can auxiliary kind of health services. Then you help people in need. You take care of elderly. You have to retool to survive and then to rebuild. So thank you, Adiza. Abdullah. Abdul
Hamid.
Abdul Hamid. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And jazakumullah khairan for all the exposés so far. So mine is a little, I won't call it a reverse scenario, but I am an IT person working in a hospital, and we have always had core medical personnel as our MDs. So when we use EMR, that's electronic medical records. So when I am trying to analyze data and let them understand that this thing is not going fine, this is not doing well, they are just like, they're about the money. An MD comes in and we were doing maybe an annual revenue of 600 million, and then he was able to rise to 900 million to 1.2 billion. So he feels it was a win. But I was like, sir, we could do better. But he didn't have any of it until about 2 months ago. A new MD came. Our former MD was relocated to another hospital. And the moment he came in, he loved data, basically. And the first thing he did was to ask, I want to meet with the ICT team. Though I am not the head of the department, but he met with us as a department and he was asking for our individual strength. And there he found out that I am a programmer, and I also have had some training in data analysis and the likes. And in the past 2 months, I have not closed earlier than 3 hours after everybody else has gone home, because we have been working together. And the first management meeting we had last month, he ensured that I was in that meeting. And that was where we had a different approach. In fact, everybody in the hospital is beginning to scare that the next management meeting, which will be in about 2 weeks, we may not go home until maybe 10 p.m. because departments that people felt were performing, we showed them the raw data
that is showing otherwise.
You are doing just about 5%.
Exactly.
We had a department that where we do scans and x-rays, their numbers is not even up to 1% of patients that come into the hospital. So we were able to prove beyond doubt that there is a lot of leakage and all of that. So now it makes it turned the whole thing around, because from someone who always begs to, sir, this thing is not the way it is, and like, oh, it always looked like I was seeking attention of the MD. It now becomes a case of, are you around? I'm still on my way. Okay, the moment you get into the hospital, come to my office. There is something that I discovered while I was going through the system. And it now makes it fine. It's sweet and all of that, the fact that I'm getting to work. But then I would almost say I didn't prepare for the drastic change. Let me put it that way, because yes, there's the knowledge, there's the fun in it, but I have been there for 8 years before now, and the kind of challenge I have now, I have not had it in those 8 years, I can assure you.
I think it's actually not the reverse. It's actually the case. It's just that you happen to be in the room where the cheese has moved to. And because you are prepared for it, you are taking the opportunity. Because things have now moved to data analytics and everything in taking decision, you are prepared for it. People took their time to get there, but you were waiting in the room, and that's the opportunity you have. So, what we have discussed within the last 40 minutes are these 4 characters: Sniff and Scurry. They see changes early, and they act fast, and they don't do overthinking. Okay, so they don't need perfection before moving. But even Sniff and Scurry are different character. One is an inventor. I will go and find it. The other one is, you are moving, I'm following. And nobody is saying one is better than the other. We're just saying recognize who you are and act based on it. Then you have him that denies and resists change. He blames others and they stay stuck. Because they are just like, no, it can't happen. We've been doing it before. It's the same thing way it would be. And then you have her that learns, is more of a funny person. He looks at himself, he finds himself funny, but he adapts. As soon as other people are saying, well, if you people are saying, I'll do it, but I'll do it well. And we have this different type of character in our places of work. And as we develop our businesses, you need to recognize who is who so that you can know who to use, because you can't do it alone. If you are a Scurry, for instance, if you're a Sniff, and you need people to work with you, you cannot partner with people like him, because the only thing they're giving you is negative energy. It can't work now. You remember that guy that did it. It failed though. When we acquired our microfinance bank, and I was actually, so we acquired, and this is a closed, I think we're just about 30 years, so it's a closed environment. We acquired this company for like 70 million naira in 2019. And at least about 5 to 10 other professionals came to me and was like, you've wasted your money. This thing cannot work. Don't you see that they have 800 and something microfinance banks? Only 2 are working. Why do you think you are different? We acquired it. That was the first kind of people, negative people. Then we're like, we will not do cash. And people are like, have you ever seen a bank that does not do cash? It cannot work. It will fail. But why did we decide not to do cash? Because we know people are becoming more digital. So we spend money to become digital. They said, but you have a unit license. It's not going to work. But with our digital focus, we can operate even in Kano, Kaduna, across Nigeria today with 1 unit of branch. So we will always have people like Ames that will tell you it can't work. Don't worry, it's impossible. You need to be focused and you need to know the people that will work with you. Scurry is going to copy you. You have to know Scurry. It's not going to invent like you, but it's going to copy you. It's good to help, but if you allow yourself to be copied too early, whether as a professional or as an entrepreneur, you lose the advantage. You lose the advantage. So you want to have the advantage of doing the work. If you're an entrepreneur, if we go back to Dangote and Boa, yes, Boa is following closely, but not that he will do it before. His refinery is coming, but before his refinery is here, Dangote has already taken advantage. His cement came, but Dangote, you understand? So if you're an inventor, don't go and try to partner with a Scurry, because a Scurry will take your idea and run with it. And if you're not careful, will beat you to it, because they copy and copy well. The kind of people you need when, strangely, they're like horse. They're not going to invent. They don't want to copy. They will adapt. But you are like, okay, that's where things are going. Which training should we go for? You need to train us. We want to be trained. They will adapt. They don't want to be the inventor. They don't want to copy. And they're not going to say it can't work. They just know that, okay, you do it, we'll work with you to achieve it. Kudos, you have comments?
No, sir. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Thanks for the insight so far. So I think reflecting on the book and comments so far, I feel very strongly that as young professionals or boarding leaders, it is very important that we learn from this book, most especially from the angle of self-awareness, right? From the angle of self-awareness and environmental awareness, you knowing yourself, who exactly you are, before then associating with others for that, in order to achieve that career trajectory you are running after, or that career goal. So I have a personal example. So very early, I've always seen myself as a sniff. Before things happen, I perhaps perceive that this is where things is going. I'm a professional accountant. Very early in my career, even as a junior accountant, when people are when we are counting money, I use Excel to count money. Why? Because when I'm counting, I collect money from different vendors or van reps. And then if I start counting, it can get mixed up. So what I do, I build a small Excel template to start counting, or putting the numbers as I'm counting, automate it and stuff like that. Then before you know it, I notice that, okay, I have interest in this automation of a thing. By the time I'm getting to the 5th year of my career, I was already managing reporting to CBN, SEC, NSC, while working with an asset management. And before you know it, now I'm running an accounting firm that is now building finance transformation solutions. And in all my journey, it's always like, oh, there's blockchain coming up. Very far back, I already took a course on blockchain. I took my first course around AI as early as perhaps 2019. Now AI is now becoming a thing. Claude is there, ChatGPT is there. Now continuously asking, okay, how do I go about this and what have you? And one of the things that I've also observed that I do on a personal level is I avoid those that are very negative. So once I say I want to do this and I start seeing people that are like, no, it can't work, and giving that vibe, I just probably just avoid speaking about the solution or idea with them. Run with it with those who agree with me, and then eventually when it works, yeah. And one thing I've also observed is also that for people like Sniff, they don't get tired when things are failing, right? I've also observed that if you know that this thing, you try it, it fails, you still go back, you try it, it fails, you're just really eyes on the goal till you are able to kind of figure it out. And at the end of the day, I think the most important thing is knowing yourself and then understanding the environment as well in order to be able to, unlock those new level of growth or cheese that you actually want to acquire. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So let's put this in about 3 summary so that what do we take away from this book? And maybe maybe I just fell in love with this book. I have read this book now, it's been more than 30 years. And this book, I still carry as if it's a manual because it's easy to read and it's built with, so I make my staff read it all the time, every time. As this Lawal took the discussion group about 2 weeks ago, I made sure because we now have a set of new staff, everybody needs to know. And the 3 key points that even if you don't read this book fully, there are 3 key points that is very important. The first one is that change will happen. There's no way you can stop it. There's no way you can pray it away. Fasting cannot do it. Change is part of the natural order of things. It will happen. You have to anticipate it. The way you do things will change. The way you live will change. As I said, I relocated to Canada in 98. I ran back 2008. But in 1998, if you want to apply for a job, so now people are able to apply for a job even on their phone. First, there was no cell phone. The cell phones that were available were those ones that they call Boda Panromi. You actually, if you have a cell phone then, you have a PA that carries it with you because it's a box. So you can't carry it by yourself. So your PA carry your cell phone with you, put it in your car, and then, so they are that big. They're analog. For you to connect to the internet, you have to go to the dial box. You link the internet through the dial phone. First, you wait for your dialing tone, you ring, and you could not apply for a job on the internet. It's not possible. So I didn't even know how to apply for a foreign job. So if I had used my own style of what I know in Nigeria, now people apply online, they get response, so things will change. When I started Treasury, the reason why I used to be a corporate bank and I was a credit person. And when they started discount houses in Nigeria in 1993, we were the first set of people that started discount house. And then my boss then gave me, I saw this advert for Treasury, and I wanted to do Treasury, so I applied. And the man gave me a job. I was so surprised that I went to the man. Did you see my CV? He said he saw it. Can't you see that I'm a credit person? He said I saw it. I said, why did you give me a Treasury job? He said, because people are not realizing that treasury is gradually becoming credit. Because a treasurer will have to invest in commercial paper. A commercial paper is credit. You have to invest in sovereign debt. You are lending to government. So we need somebody with a credit experience to come and be in treasury so that you can have this mentality. Then I got into treasury because of my credit experience. As it was transforming, I became the head of treasury, even ahead of people that taught me treasury, because there were other 3 people that already knew treasury, but they didn't know credit. Within 3 years, I became the head because of so things will change. Then when you trade, you used to make call a bank to the other. So you call the other treasurer, and that was when we invent using the initials of people and the initial of the counterparty and a number to start identifying transaction. So in the financial market today, people refer to me as AJ because that was my initials that I used to do treasury. And then, for instance, I'm dealing with Ola, maybe OLA, then you put a number, and then somebody will physically take that transaction to central bank in Tinumbu, in CMS Tinumbu area. That was where central bank is. Even central bank is now in Abuja, part of change. And then they would manually post it. Now you don't even talk to a counterparty. You do treasury and everything, counterparties on Bloomberg. You don't need to know the person. You don't need to call the person. Within that short period of 20 years, things have radically transformed. I said I was a super treasurer. If I enter treasury room today, I cannot even be a beginner treasurer because things have changed. And because I have left that space, I didn't grow with it. So if I now start a company and I call myself super treasurer and I want to be in charge of treasury, is the beginning of failure. What does that mean? You may be an expert in something today and a novice tomorrow. You need to recognize yourself, either as a professional or as an entrepreneur. What you knew, what made you who you are, may completely be different today. You then need to recognize the experts that are able to surround you and help you. Yes, you still have the knowledge, you still have the experience. Those are your experience. Your cheese is now stale. But if you're lucky to have built a platform, you need to recognize that the skill you're using for the cheese of those days may not be the skill that is necessary, you needed today. So you need the people that have the skill that can do it. So yes, I own Trust Bank and people will come. I don't think Zikro has, yeah, you've been to my office and they don't see any book or paper on my desk. I learned that early from one of my bosses, who is still my boss, very close. And I used to ask her name is Nana Mensa. She was a treasurer in UBA. She was my boss in Express. And her desk used to be very clean. So I'll be like, Nana, how is your desk always this clean? And she would say, refer to the drawer. So, and then bank used to write checks. So I thought, how does refer to, so if you don't have money in you write a check and you don't have money, the bank will put refer to the drawer. The drawer is it. So I was like, Nana, how is a check related to your, say, no, it's not the check drawer, the physical drawer. So she said, sit down. So let me teach you something. You cannot do 2-3 things at the same time and do it effectively. Unless you are trying to pretend, is the only reason why your table will be clustered. The The only document you need on your desk at any point is the one you are working on. Every other document must be in your drawer. So it's not that I'm not working on 10 or 20 things. It's just that they're in the drawers. So that's one reason why your drawer may be clean. The second reason is that you don't put your nose in other people's business. If you have specialists around you, let them do their work. So you come to my desk, if there's anything that has to do with finance, and Aziz Lawal can handle it. It's not my headache. My own is to take the final decision. You have to learn to let go. I am a chartered accountant in Canada. I'm a chartered accountant in Nigeria. But since I stopped being an active accountant, I don't know what IAS is saying. No. I can have an idea, but I'm not the expert. You need to know when to say, I am no longer the most current expert. Because things change, people change, transactions change. So first thing is to anticipate change, because change will happen, whether you like it or not. If you want to remain relevant, you have to prepare for that change. And the way to prepare for change varies. It may be you have to study different things. Your skill expires. You have to be ready. Your skill may need improvement. You are a chartered accountant, you may need AI. You are still an accountant, it's just that AI will help you do it faster. If your current colleagues are doing consolidated for a big company and they're completing their audited report end of January, and you're still telling your management by end of March, because of consolidation, because we're about to close, you cannot last. So if you need AI, go learn it so that you can then apply it and make it work faster. Market shifts. As Adiza said, market might shift on its own, or you may shift yourself to a new market. You need to recognize the change in that market and be skilled to handle it. One other thing that you must carry, no matter how good, no matter how well, no chase lasts forever. There used to be a company called Kodak. I'm not sure if many of us, because we're a younger generation, I actually ran away to do my 60. I'm not a party person. I was 60 June 5. So when it's around my birthday time, I find opportunity to run away. So I was in Canada on my birthday for two reasons. One, I don't like parties. Two, there's no point wasting money on party when you can use it for charity. You will not get any reward from God if you spend 200 million on a party. If you use it well, maybe that's what will save you on the day of judgment. So this is part of thinking ahead. So I decided, is Ezekiel a Muslim?
Yeah, he is. Okay.
Because I have this guy in my office that interacted with a lot of Muslims and decided to come and start praying. Okay, so your cheese will not last forever. Note that and know peace. No matter how sweet, no matter how big, no matter how good, it will end. So Kodak used to produce films.
Yeah.
For people, so you go and buy film.
Yes.
And Kodak was the best filmmaker.
Yes.
You go and buy film, then you buy your camera. Exactly. Then you put the film inside the camera, and you snap. And then you remove the film and you take it to the wood and go and wash. We say you go and wash your, it's print now, but it's wash because they used to put it in some liquid chemical.
Yes, yes.
This chain that I've just mentioned used to be a very big business. Olu Professional used to wash film, and they were national. That means you finish your Kodak, you remove it, then you take it to them, they take your name, and then they say, come back 2 weeks, and then they print your Olu Professional was everywhere in Nigeria. Okay? Building, equipment, everything. And the man was very, very rich. Okay? See how you need to understand your end-to-end food chain. Because something may be happening somewhere, and you're like, it doesn't affect me now. So digital came. Fuji was a very small company in Asia. And Fuji started making this digital film camera. You just buy it. You don't need to print, but it's not very, the quality was not very high. So you can take the picture and you see the image immediately. But it's not very clear. So you can then print. So you started printing, you are no longer washing. What did Kodak say? It's not my problem now. How many people will go and start doing this on clear images? The images are not clear. The things, no, don't worry, that's not our competitor. What we need to do is to go and make a film, the film that you put in your camera, go and make higher quality of the films. In other words, in such a way that people will see the difference between our own production and Fuji's production. This is where problem starts. Not recognizing that your cheese has moved immediately, because you are just seeing a tip or the beginning of that cheese. There's thick cloud around it, and you are feeling confident. Oh, how can that person beat me? It's not a possibility. So Kodak refused to change. Fuji started improving on their digital production. Then something happened. Intel started producing microchips, and the quality of digital became. Then people now, meanwhile, remember the end of that story is Olu Professional, because they needed Kodak to sell their films for them to wash the films. So as long as Kodak was operating, Olu Professional, I think they're in business.
Yeah.
Then Fuji started preparing. Then Asia went haywire with digital. And then you can then do digital, get better picture than Kodak. And as Asia rushed into this, the price of a digital camera became like a 10% of a Kodak camera. First, you have to buy Kodak camera. You have to buy the film. Then you have to go and watch it at Olu Professional. All of this came in one tiny China-made camera that gives you equal quality or better quality. I'm not sure people have heard Kodak. I'm even sure there are people here that have not heard of Kodak.
It's not impossible.
In the US, in America, there's some people they call flagship companies. If you want to know how the economy is doing, once those companies release their quarterly reports, you can say the economy did well. The economy did well. Kodak was one of them. Kodak does not exist today. Simply because they didn't realize when the cheese was moving. There used to be BlackBerry. BlackBerry, in fact, I'm sure a lot of us should know about BlackBerry. BlackBerry used to be the iPhones. And they started the business hand carrier phone, mobile phone, where in the past, to get your email, to get your business done, you must carry your computer around. And there was no iPad then. So you cannot be carrying your computer around. So people use BlackBerry. BlackBerry, then iPhone came. And iPhone approached BlackBerry. Can we use your software in iPhone? And BlackBerry was like, who are you, iPhone, for me to license my my software for you to use iPhone? And iPhone was like, you know what? Let's go and build our own. Let's build what we call iOS. And iOS killed BlackBerry. If BlackBerry had accepted to say, why not? We'll build and use and we'll license our software to you. Do you know who the biggest provider of, so there's Android, there has been Android before iOS. But before iOS was BlackBerry. And BlackBerry was the king of that time. If they had licensed BlackBerry to iPhone, to Apple, all Apple products would today be carrying BlackBerry software. That means even when BlackBerry's hardware, because their hardware may become irrelevant, but their chips will have moved to software production. BlackBerry, the biggest company in Canada, became the smallest in phone production, simply because they did not pay attention to when the cheese has moved. Now, before Apple, before Microsoft, there was IBM, International Business Machine. International Business Machine was bigger than Apple, relatively, if you compare the size of. In fact, on the Dow, if IBM has not released, you don't know what is happening. The day IBM release is the day that. How many people know IBM today? Very few. They still exist, but
They still exist, yeah.
But they're very small relative to the Apples. When Elon Musk started Tesla, General Motors, Toyota, and others were like, it cannot work. You continue to need fuel to run a company. Why? Because battery cannot last. Where will battery take you to now before it's exhausted? It cannot take you from Lagos Island to Mushin. Don't worry. Then they've now developed batteries that can last you 900 kilometers without being charged. The chase has moved, but they at least followed that Scurry. Yeah, like, okay, if we are wrong, but they caught on very late. Tesla made Elon the richest man in the world, the richest by far. We've been talking of Dangote. Dangote is $40 billion in net worth, which is that kind of money is, I'm not sure I can describe it. But Elon Musk is going to become the first trillionaire in dollars. That means Elon Musk, I don't know how many multiple of time that is, because 40 times 10 is 400. So Elon Musk is like 30 Dangote in one. So recognizing when the chase move is very important, and knowing that the chase will finish is also very important. Now, what this has shown us is that chase will move. You have to let go of the old chase and see where the new chase is. These camera people that we just spoke about, they just refuse to let go. Sometimes you let go. Some people is because we spend so much on equipment. We just bought this technology. How can we change it? and then they wait too long, and then the problem becomes bigger. So know when to let go of the old cheese so that you don't get caught. And lastly, you have to move with the chase. For you to move with the chase, you need to know what the chase is. People sometimes they make the mistake of, they know there's a chase, but they don't know what the chase is. So I'll give you an example. If you have a spoon, and these spoons enable you to eat rice or to drink oat, and then you move to your next point of eat, you go only with your spoon. If you go to the next place and the plate is empty, have you moved with your chase? So there's a difference between the tool that enable you to eat the chase and the chase itself. Yes, you have a certificate. It can be ACA, CFA. That's the tool that is enabling you to eat the chase. The chase is that you have those employers that need your skill, your experience, and you are relevant in that location. Always identify the chase and always identify the tool. You need both. So your tool is your skill, but the chase actually may be locational dependent. And the skill that, so you may be able to fetch water from a pot using your cup and you drink water, but you cannot fetch water from a well using your cup. The two items are both water containers, but the tool you need to, so the chase is the same. It is water, but the container for this chase may be different. One is in a well, one is in a cup, in a pot. The tool you will need are different, but you're fetching the same chase. You need to recognize where your chase is and the tool you will need, and make sure you have the tool to enable you fetch the chase. Okay, those are the three things. Know that your chase will finish. Not only it will finish, let it go
That's a matter of time.
as soon as possible, and then move with the chase. Thank you very much. We can take questions. We've
Thanks
passed
so
our
much,
1
sir.
hour, but
Yes.
I think it's worth it. Yeah.
Thanks so much for sparing us beyond the time. We're really grateful. So any question? Because the time is fast spent. Okay.
Yusuf.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much, Mr. Abu and Mr. Sikiru, for this opportunity. My question is quite simple. For those of us who are just or trying to find our feet, trying to find the cheese, is it possible to have two cheeses? I don't know. And when is it okay to focus on just one or try to find which one works better between the two?
Thank you. I think the question you are asking is, let me put it this way. Should I have multiple sources of income? Should I be pursuing different opportunities at the same time? Now, when your cheese has come, you will know that the cheese has come. Let's give example of people that are in oil exploration. It is possible that you dig a well and you see some oil, but it's just shallow. You will eat. It will be very expensive for you to reach it, but you will eat, you get something. But if you get a big well, you will know. So when you are getting this shallow well, you still have to continue to dig more wells. So it means you have found a small cheese and you have to look for bigger ones. When you find the bigger ones, you still continue to dig because even this bigger one will finish. So yes, the simple answer is you have to continue to look. You have to continue to improve. I don't know if I told this at the last time, but when we started Trust Bank Group, we started as a BDC. Actually, we started as a farm. So we started a farm in Epe. We do poultry. And then we do only eggs. We still have the farm. Then we had a BDC. And then BDCs were making good money. So we'll make money, we expand farm. We'll make money, we expand farm. And then the farm became very big. So we now have 2 cheese locations. Now, at the point we were producing 20,000 crates of eggs per day. That means we had layers of close to 100,000 layers, and we're making money from BDC. So at this point, we decided not to expand the poultry again, just stabilize. So we started financial services. Okay. So the geese that lays the egg is the BDC and the farm. Then the cheese started finishing in BDC. Today, we do not have a BDC at all. Then the farm that was producing 20,000 crates of eggs per day, sometimes your cheese has not finished, but you have a flood that cannot let you reach it. Then banditry, kidnapping started, even around Epe. So I have not been to the farm in 7-8 years.
Wow.
You don't start pumping money to an area that you cannot visit because the risk gets higher. So the only reason we still operate the farm is to hold the land because it's 35 acres of land. So it's big with buildings and everything, just to keep local people there to be operating. So that cheese also is still. So if you had stayed only on BDC and farm, there will be no Trust Bank Group today.
No.
So you never stop. And that's why if you're an entrepreneur, if you have to keep thinking, what else is complementary that we can do? What can we expand? Because one day the chase will finish. It's not maybe. It may take long, but it will finish. In the Nigerian financial system, if you had come 20 years ago, about 26 years ago, there were 100 plus banks in Nigeria. If we mention names of 80 of them now, they're dead. Now, part of the big ones then, if you mention Union Bank, people will actually fast and pray to work in Union Bank. It still exists, but it's not the past glory. But banks like AfriBank, people don't even know which AfriBank is because it has come through different stages. There was a BCCI, International Bank. There was Credit Lyonnais. There was Prime Merchant Bank. There are so many banks that people were fasting and praying for them to even get interview. Today, they do not exist. Banking still exists. It's just that for those people, the chase has finished. You understand? So it is important to have multiple sources of income. It is extremely important, not just important. It is extremely important to have multiple sources of income. It is also extremely important to be versatile and sort of diversified in your skill. Don't just be a one skill person, because that skill may become irrelevant. If you're that guy that was an expert in watching film that comes out of Kodak, even if you went to Harvard to learn it and you're the best in the world, there's no more film to watch now. So you cannot say, but I'm an expert, I'm Harvard trained. I still no. So you need to be able to move as the cheese moves. And that requires multiple skill, that requires constant training, that requires that you are alert. Because as I said the last time, you don't look for umbrella when the rain has already started. Some people will tell you you're just wasting time. Because what else is he looking for? Like they will tell, we'll be like, it's a chartered accountant. Why are you still going to school? So I'm starting school in September. I'm starting my doctorate in business administration. And people were asking me, where will you apply for job? I said, I'm not applying for a job. But you need to, I need to go and understand. So I left university in I finished my master's in 1990. 1990 to now is 40
That's 36 years.
36 years. A lot of things have happened. There was no internet. Until I finished my university, I never touched internet. A lot, now there's AI. Okay? So I'm going back to school so that I will interact with younger people. I will interact with younger lecturers. I will learn new things. And then I can come back and say, this has changed. This, you understand? So this, you can never stop learning. And there's no age limit to you learning and retraining and retooling and reskilling. Okay? I hope that answers your question. Any other questions?
Any other question quickly? Any other question very quickly? Okay.
Okay. I think it's either it's clear or people were not listening to me. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Kamal.
Kamal, go ahead, please, very quickly. Kamal. Is anyone close to him?
Assalamualaikum.
Go ahead.
Assalamualaikum.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, please. I'm a university student. Yes, I'm a university student, and I'm looking for like skills and maybe investments to start. So I don't know like which way to go like that. And
sorry, I didn't hear that clearly. You are a university student and you are thinking of investment.
Yes, like well, like the small money I have, I don't like invest in something. So I'm thinking of what I can invest in that's like beneficial and profitable, like in this Nigerian economy and something that like can like in that like with the market trend too, something like that. I don't know how to.
You said so many things, so and they are all very dangerous things. With the market trend, meaning that you are trying to run after something that is happening. And I'm suspecting that you are talking of the stock market. And you are possibly being tempted by the stock market that is going up. If you are a young person that wants to invest, it is not based on the trend. It has to be based on your ambition, your time horizon, and your capacity for risk. And capacity for risk is very important. There's some people, if they put their money in the stock market, they will have their computer open beside their bed. Every 2 hours, they're looking at the stock market. It has gained 1 naira. It has lost 3 naira. And when it has lost 3 naira, their blood pressure goes up. Say, am I losing all of this money? That is not investment. You understand? I'm a very big risk taker. So I'm very careful in advising people. So you need to know your appetite for risk. If I don't know how much this money is, let's say it's 1 billion naira. If I lose this money, will I commit suicide? That's the extreme, which happens in investment world. If I lose this money, will I be able to continue my education? If I lose this money, will I have sleepless night? So those are the range of emotions that you can have. Now, the emotions, the negative emotion that comes with losing money is a lot more than the positive emotions that come with gaining money. If you invest 10,000 naira and you gain 10,000 naira, it becomes 20,000 naira. You are happy. But if you measure that happiness, it's not as strong as you invest 10,000 naira, you lose 10,000 naira. You understand? Because you are blaming yourself. Why did I put my money? But when you gain, you are like, I'm a superstar. It's my skill. So I don't know how much you have. I don't know your risk level. Whoever is going to advise you first have to talk of your risk level and how long you are willing to wait. And I'll give you stock market example. Somebody may tell you, oh yeah, go and buy Aradel. Aradel was 500 naira like 18 months ago. Maybe the time they're advising you was when it was 2,000 naira. Today, Aradel is 1,004. So if you had put your money when it was 2,000 naira, you've lost 600 naira. Meanwhile, the person that invested at 500 naira is still looking at the gain of 900 naira. So you need to be very careful. You need to know what you want to achieve. You need to know how sustainable it has to be. And you need to know the kind of investment you are doing, if it is faith-based or general form of investment. Essentially, at a younger age, you have time to wait. But don't take too much risk where you can lose all the money. Invest in fundamentals, companies that will always exist, at least for a long period. Okay? So if you see the kind of MTN, people will always, in Nigeria, if people don't eat, they will make call because they have to call the person that will give them that 2,000 naira. Yeah. So company like that will always make some money. If you invest, you have to be ready to wait because it's not going to give you a repayment of 100% in a day. So it depends on what you want to achieve, but you can contact me and I'll link you to people that can guide you on how to invest your money. Any other question?
Thank you, sir. Any other question? I think we don't have anyone. So
thank you very much.
We're deeply grateful for this opportunity, sir.
Thank you.
Despite your busy schedule, you still have time to give us this moment.
Thank you.
And the good thing is that you initiated this and it's happening. We're deeply grateful. And things that not all of us are privileged to work in an organization where we have a boss like you to regularly take us through real life business realities. And so this was a special privilege to all enjoy that same learning. So we're grateful, sir.
Thank you very much. And we'll meet next quarter, inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.